Hello, everyone. Today we'll continue talking about Descartes' Meditation 2. What we discussed so far is that there's a demolition project in Meditation 1. It seems that all of our beliefs are out the window, that we cannot really know anything. Meditation 2 is the beginning of building up a conception of reality in which we can know things. The basic turning point is that I think, therefore I am. The fact that I'm thinking is necessarily connected with the existence of a thinking subject, is necessarily connected with thought itself, with there being thoughts and thinking. So even if an evil demon deceives me about the veracity or accuracy or truth of my experiences, all of my experiences, not even a evil demon can deceive me about the fact that I exist and that I'm thinking, that I'm experiencing things, that I'm thinking things. So the existence of thought is indubitable. The existence of my existing and thinking is indubitable. It cannot be doubted. I know those things with certainty, with certitude. My experiences are transparent to me, and they are immediately accessible. I can just see them directly, or they're the experiences that I have directly. The major question for Descartes is whether those thoughts or experiences correspond to reality. They represent reality accurately, adequately, whether they're true, and crucially, how do we go about knowing whether those experiences are true? So that's the basic kind of moment at the end of meditation 2, near the end of meditation 2. And that's the basic question for the rest of meditations. Also in meditation 2, though, there is this wax argument, which is strangely placed because of just what I said. This is a moment in Descartes' thinking in which the only thing he knows with certainty is that he knows, that he thinks, and that he exists, that he has thoughts. And yet we have this argument about the nature of material substances. So it's a weird location, but because it's there, let's look at it. First, a basic definition. The way Descartes uses words to say that something is a sensible quality is to say that it's the quality that is directly given or presented by the senses. So colors, shape, taste, sense, those are sensible qualities. Those are the things that the senses give us, or at least they populate, our experiences are populated by these qualities which are given to us by the senses. And it's an argument, this wax argument is an argument about the way in which reason operates or thinks about or kind of grasps the nature of reality, physical reality, that is not grounded in the senses. So it illustrates the limitations of experience without reason. And here's the argument. Premise number one, the piece of wax has some particular sensible qualities before being near the fire. So Descartes talks about this piece of wax that he's experiencing it. And he looks at it, has a particular color, he taps on it, it makes a particular sound, he smells it, has a particular smell. So he engages all of his senses, and they all provide kind of a sensory quality, a particular shape, a particular color, a particular texture. It feels a particular way, smells a particular way. It has all of these collection of sensible qualities. And all of those are derived from the senses. That's why they're sensible qualities. And before it's placed near the fire, it has a collection of those sensible qualities. It's smooth, it's hard, it makes a little noise when you tap it, smells a particular way, but it has all of those sensible qualities. Descartes puts it near the fire, waits a little bit, and notices something strange. All of those sensible qualities change. It's no longer smooth. It's no longer smooth at the touch. It's no longer. It doesn't make any sound if you touch it. If you flick it, if you hit it, and this is now it emits a different smell. It smells in a way in which it didn't smell before. The shape has changed. The color has changed. So every single one of the sensible qualities that were present before exposed to the fire has changed. Everyone. So if you're just going with the senses, you might have thought, oh, the thing has morphed into something else. It is something else now. And yet here's something we know. The piece of wax before the change, before being near the water, is the same piece of wax after the change, despite the fact that all of the sensible qualities have changed. So what does that tell us about capacity to grasp reality? That I understand that the piece of wax to be the same piece of wax on the basis of something other than my sensory perception. what my sensory perception gave me has changed. All of it has changed. And if I were to just naively trust my senses, if I were to kind of interpret reality around me, merely relying on the senses, I would conclude that the thing has changed to something else now. And of course, we don't do that. We know it is the same piece of wax. And the reason we know that is because we're relying on our intellect, our intelligence. And the point here is not just about wax, but everything around us. The more fundamental, the more important facts about them, their numerical identity, and so on, the kinds of things that they are, what they are. That's something that reason gives us. That's something that when reason operates, it is reason that grasps the nature of those things. It is not the senses. So that's what we get about wax, but it's a claim about everything. Just wax is a pristine example because all of this sensory qualities, all of the sensory qualities change. But here's the conclusion. Therefore, I grasp the nature of the wax and the fundamental facts about it, like it is the same one before and after it changes. I grasp those by the intellect or reason alone. The senses did not help me do that because the senses told me it was a different thing. All the qualities changed. So as we experience reality around us, it is the intellect that is doing the major work in interpreting that reality. It's not the senses. That's the limit. What the senses give us is very limited: color, shape, taste. Those are very limited kind of information. The meaning things have around us is the result of the intellect thinking and understanding and interpreting the basic data or information given by the senses. It is the intellect that makes intelligible the very experiences grounded in the senses. So the intellect is at work a lot more than we typically think. So here's the conclusion of meditation 2. What Descartes thinks he has established about the mind, the ability of the mind to grasp or comprehend reality. First, the mind grasps, or as he puts it, clearly and distinctly perceives or clearly and distinctly understands that the nature of mind, what it is to be a mind, is thought itself. Thought itself is the only thing that is inseparable from the thinking subject, the thing that does the thinking. Body can be separated by, an evil demon deceiving you into thinking they have a body, but you don't. But not even an evil demon can deceive you into thinking that you're thinking when you're not, or that you're not thinking when you are. That is your kind of domain of influence. That's the kind of thing for which you have certainty in clear and distinct understand. You have clear and distinct understandings of that thing. So the mind grasps its own nature as thought clearly and distinctly, and perceives itself to be thought. But the result of the wax experiment also gives us something very different. The mind, intellect, clearly and distinctly perceives or understands that the nature of body is extension. It is the extension that endures through the changes in qualities. All of the sensible qualities that the wax had before change into something else. And it is reason that grasp that it is the same thing, not something else, because the extended body endured. It is the extension that grounds the identity of the thing, the wax, and that grounds the identity of all bodies or things that are extended in space and time. So this gives us two different kinds of things in the world. Thought is thus unextended, is not located anywhere, does not occupy any space, for it is not the kind of thing that does this. By its very nature, what it makes it a mind, it's thought, it's not body. To be thought it is to be the kind of thing that is not extended, but is thinking. The basic activity of the thinking thing is to think, not to be extended. That's the basic activity of body. So it is body and only body that occupies space, that is extended. And that is what makes it a body. A thing is a mind if it thinks. The activity of thinking is what makes it be a mind. And a thing is a body if it's extended. It is the being extended that grounds its nature as a body, as a thing that's extended. And the mind clearly and distinctly understands both of those things. So we have clear grasp on the nature of two very different kinds of things: minds like ourselves and bodies like this body or this body. So that's the end of meditation 2. We'll continue. See you next time.